that is not, I realize we can draw an analogy with the dog park, but this Angelo Field is not currently incorporated into the comprehensive parks plan because it's a piece of property that we don't own.
Right.
We've known for a long time that the use of it is conditional at the beneficence, I guess I would say, of the Angelo family. And I don't think they're coming to this agreement to try to put the screws to the city of Washougal. It's just a financial necessity that they have. And so in many ways, if it is well used by local soccer players and soccer commissions, then those groups should bear, as like user fees, the responsibility for paying for that facility.
People down there, John.
Does the Angelo family, have they made any kind of gestures to us in any way that they may consider developing that land?
Joanne?
That's why my hand was raised. Actually, last year, that's the site that the senior low-income housing was going to occur, and that project is still a potential. It's just that they didn't get their grant funding during that period of time, so they're applying again this year. And so Angelo's has always had that property intended for sale.
Rod?
We talk about the money for this, but I wish there was a way to track the money that's spent by the families that in our cities that come to play on that field. There is that element that maybe they're paying their way by taxes and stuff that they spend in this, because there's an awful lot of field players down there every weekend and evenings and stuff, and so probably no good way to track that, but there is money being spent by any tournament or any scope of parents driving around and bringing their kids in there. We've all looked at that over the years, and we know that if they hold tournaments in Washougal between the school district and the city, that's a money maker. I mean, and so maybe it's paying its way. We just can't see that.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Jennifer?
No, I support the city letting the Angelo family out of this lease and letting them move forward and with whatever they want to do with their private property, whether they want to turn this $5,170.33 charge over to the soccer leagues and let them deal with it. You know, I completely agree with Molly. It's a private piece of property. It's been sort of, you know, we've been, you know, granted the use of it through a benefactor, and that's been fantastic for the kids for all these years. But if they can't afford to do that anymore, then we need to let them out of their lease and let them move forward.
Just one quick question to Trevor. Do you know if the new Danielson soccer fields are playable yet, and would they be adequate or permitted for the soccer kids that are currently down there?
I haven't been down there recently, but I don't think it takes much to get a field playable, depending on what level of competition is on it. We did have some practices out there, different sport, but it seemed like they were in pretty good shape last spring, but I haven't been out to that facility specifically.
They are playable.
They are playable now, yeah.
Dave?
A question and a comment, if I may. Joanne, this has been going on since 2005. The Angelos have let us use this for...
Oh, I don't know the history of how long they've allowed us to use it. I just know that it's always been intended that it was eventually going to be developed.
I saw the
February
2005 in there. So there's somewhere between $25,000 and $50,000 worth of beneficence that's been bestowed on the city. The only thing I would say is, if we're going to cut this out, I would strongly urge the administration to write a personal letter to the Angelos expressing our gratitude for the use of this property for the last 5 years, or however long it's been, and noting their civic contribution.
And I would also dovetail on that, that if we were to end this agreement, this lease, we also need to have an alternative for the children immediately available for them to go and do their soccer. You know how emotions get built up around
Yeah.
property sometimes.
No,
and so-
And that's the one issue that in dealing with the Little League and the schools and that type of stuff, I don't know that we could put something in place. I don't know that we've got additional properties to even mow something into place in a short period of time.
Gary, I'm going to open it up to you. I purposely wanted to stay till the end so that you had the benefit of hearing where everybody's coming from for their questions that are going to be making the decision on that, so.
My name is Gary Marchinsky. I've been with the Camas Washougal Soccer Club for close to 20 years, which is pretty much the length of time that we've used Angelo Park, or what it used to be called Columbia Field. We've used it for forever, always rock hard, solid in the summer because it's not irrigated, but once it starts raining and the grass starts popping up, it's a really nice field to use. The popularity of soccer has just grown dramatically over the years, and we're now at like 1,800 kids that play within the Camas Washougal Soccer Club, and approximately 40% of that are from Washougal, and it's always been kind of a long-standing issue with respect to the lack of fields in Washougal. And the Danielson's field was certainly a welcome addition because we have one full-size field up there and a partial field, but it's really, as we see it, it's just a step in the right direction with getting fields in on this side of the city. Seems like everything that we play is always in Camas because they irrigate more and there's more fields available. What I'd like to try to urge the council is to try to keep the field open. When we originally struck the deal with Nabil here about 4 years ago, or whatever that time frame was primarily driven from an insurance perspective to get the coverage of the city's insurance. It wasn't to offset the property taxes that was employed. That's why they come up with just the $1 a month perspective. So it seems like there's something new that's kind of came in saying, hey, can you pay my property taxes piece? And perhaps we could do something that's in the middle of saying, no, we can't do that. We're willing to maintain it as a park, but we really can't afford to pay the property taxes so that we can maintain it as a city park for these 500 some kids that are from Washougal to still have a place to play. So was my thoughts.
Thank you. Other questions? Michael?
So is it possible to have, I don't know how many, are you the only soccer groups that officially use the park, or are there other leagues as well?
There's a portion of our club that are premier oriented, and they have some kids from outside the area that come in and play. That's predominantly the field right next to it that they work with Pendleton to develop that. That was primarily that group, that higher level group. But the people that use the Angelo Park are definitely the local Camas Washougal Soccer Club, which is the only one out there. The Parks and Rec has a little bit of summer